Have you ever felt like you were living but not truly alive? Like every day was a repetition of the last, a dull echo of routines, habits, and obligations you never really chose. You wake up, you scroll, you eat, you work, you sleep, and in between, there's a constant hum of noise filling the silence, distracting you from a truth you may not want to face, that beneath the surface of your busyness, your soul is quietly starving. You see, most people never realize that the greatest danger in life isn't failure. It isn't heartbreak. It isn't even death. The greatest danger is to live a life so distracted, so anesthetized by comfort and entertainment that you never truly live at all. The philosopher Søren Kierkegaard once warned that the greatest despair is not to lose something outside of you, but to lose yourself without even noticing it. And that's what most of us are doing, slowly, invisibly, day after day. We chase what others told us to chase. We scroll through endless feeds of other people's dreams. We drown ourselves in the noise of busyness so we never have to face the silence of our own existence. But deep inside, there is a faint voice that whispers in the quiet moments. When you lie awake at night, when the crowd leaves and the noise fades, that voice asks, "Is this it? Is this all there is to me?" Think about it. When was the last time you sat in silence without reaching for your phone? When was the last time you asked yourself not what the world expects of you, but what you truly want? Most people are terrified of that silence, because silence forces us to confront uncomfortable truths we spend our whole lives avoiding. Nietzsche once said, "The individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. If you try it, you will be lonely often, and sometimes frightened. But no price is too high to pay for the privilege of owning yourself. But instead of paying that price, we choose the easier road. We hide in conformity. We exchange our freedom for approval. We fill our minds with noise so we never have to hear the quiet cry of our own neglected soul." Let me tell you a story. There was once a man who inherited a piece of land from his father. It wasn't much, just a small field, overgrown with weeds. Every morning he looked at it, but he told himself, "One day when I have more time, I'll clear it. I'll plant something meaningful here." But days turned into months, and months turned into years. He got busy working, chasing other people's dreams, drowning himself in distractions, and by the time he returned to that field, it was too late. The weeds had grown too thick, the soil had hardened, and nothing could grow there anymore. The field was his soul, and like so many of us, he neglected it until it was too late. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You are not as free as you think. Most of your decisions, your habits, even your desires, they're borrowed, shaped by advertisements, social pressure, the silent whispers of culture telling you what matters and what doesn't. Plato described this in his allegory of the cave. Most people, he said, live chained in darkness, watching shadows on the wall, believing the illusions in front of them are reality. And when someone dares to break free, to step into the light, they are ridiculed, feared, even hated. Ask yourself honestly, are you watching shadows, or are you willing to walk into the blinding light of truth, even if it hurts? Why do so many of us avoid this confrontation with ourselves? Because deep down we are afraid of freedom. True freedom means responsibility. It means you can no longer blame your parents, your society, or your circumstances for the way you live. It means that if your life is empty, if your dreams are dead, the responsibility rests on your shoulders. Machiavelli once said that it is easier to be led by illusions than to confront reality, because illusions comfort us while reality demands change. And so we choose illusions. We convince ourselves that happiness is just one more purchase away. That meaning is something we can outsource to careers, status, or likes on a screen. But deep down, we know the truth. We are running from ourselves. Let me give you another story. There was a man in ancient China known for his wisdom. One day, a young boy asked him, "Master, what is the most dangerous thing in life?" The old man replied, "It is to sleep while awake." The boy didn't understand. So the master explained, "Most people walk, eat, work, even laugh, but they are asleep. They repeat what others do without awareness. They live years without ever asking who they are or why they exist. They die without ever waking up. And perhaps that is what we fear the most, that we might spend our entire existence half asleep, never truly awakening to ourselves. But here's where the story twists. Here's the truth you may not want to hear. Most people will never wake up. Most people will die having lived someone else's life, chasing someone else's dream, and drowning in noise to avoid the silence of their own soul. And if you are not careful, you will too. That is the silent enemy of your soul. Not pain, not failure, not death, but unconscious living. The danger of letting days slip into years until you look back and realize you were never truly there for your own life. So what can you do? How do you begin to awaken? Start small. Start with silence. Set aside even 10 minutes a day to sit without distraction. No phone, no music, no noise. Just you and the questions you've been avoiding. Ask yourself, if I stripped away every expectation, every illusion, every borrowed dream, what would remain? What would I choose if I were truly free? This will feel uncomfortable. It may feel like standing in front of a mirror, seeing yourself clearly for the first time. But it is only in this discomfort that transformation begins. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, practiced a daily reflection called memento mori, a reminder that you will die. Not to depress themselves, but to sharpen their awareness, to remind themselves that every day is a gift that will never return. You too must remember your time is finite. The clock is ticking, and the weeds are growing in your field. Every moment you delay, every day you distract yourself, the soil of your soul hardens. If you want to awaken, you must choose now. Let me leave you with this. When the noise fades, when the crowd leaves, when your last day comes, it will not matter how many likes you had, or how much money you made, or how busy you were. What will matter is whether you truly lived, whether you dared to walk out of the cave, whether you chose silence over noise, truth over illusion, freedom over comfort. The silent enemy of your soul is not outside of you. It is within. It is the part of you that wants to stay asleep, to keep dreaming someone else's dream. But you have a choice. Wake up now, because the worst tragedy in life is not death. It is to be alive and never truly live.